You are going to find this a very challenging reading. Aronson is talking about a process called cognitive dissonance. It's a tendency for people to justify their behavior, to make their beliefs consistent with the behavior in which they're engaging. And very often, the behavior in which they're engaging has a seed that's somewhat arbitrary, and people will then develop justifications as behavior proceeds down a path. Understanding how that works is extremely important to us. It's extremely important to us in a business setting because while commitment is very often seen as this positive trait, the commitment process can just as easily support the development of undesirable, unethical, and illegal belief behavior linkages, and it's extremely important for us to understand. What we see in business is this problem of what I call the slippery slope, where one very small lapse leads to another lapse to another lapse, and pretty soon people have gone off of the edge, especially in the area of unethical behavior, but also undesirable behaviors in the workplace that are quite important to us when we think about managing individuals in the workplace. The other thing that I think this brings home to us is mentioned in the Solancic reading, but in many instances, we are actually interested in undoing commitments as much as we are creating them. People develop belief support for behaviors that are undesirable in the workplace, and in attacking those behaviors, we actually run the risk of strengthening the commitment, not undoing the commitment. And so understanding this process of justification, self-justification, rationalization, commitment is very important for us as leaders. The article has a lot of examples of psychological rationalization, which is belief formation that is the result of behavior. It is and somewhat unsatisfying also because he kind of concludes, well, theory's not very tight. It can go a lot of directions. It doesn't give us great predictions. From our standpoint, what's extremely important about the article is both the examples and this notion that small initial seed behaviors can set a path to commitment that is very undesirable. And we want to understand how that process works. So I want you to look for how he explains the process of rationalization, in particular, relate this to commitment as belief formation. There is an aspect of this that relates directly to attribution, which is the much later theory, and it's really core to how we understand what's happening in the commitment process. You'll see that there's this relationship between incremental commitment and rationalization, and I'm particularly concerned with that you have this understanding of how unethical behaviors can have their root in very kind of small early decisions, and we'll see this strongly presented in the case that goes with this material. Um, the other key thing is to really note how powerful the path is from the initial behavior to the initial belief. So this also tells us how important it is for us in leadership to be attentive to and really understand the belief environment that's happening within our firm, and how we are giving feedback to people, how we are actually working really hard on the belief side of what's happening is a really important leadership skill. People who are managers and really just focus on compliance, they don't really worry about the beliefs that are associated with behavior, are really missing an opportunity to make a big difference. But that big difference is this very initial process, and it's something that we want to, may seem almost trivial, but it's something that we really want to be attentive to and understand why we need to be attentive to it.